Welcome back to Gypsy Soldier, soldiering through life on a 9-month life transformation challenge. The body, the mind and the soul. So I don't know if you can tell, I'll flex for you, that I've been working on the body the last 3 months and now we're in the mind section. I did slip a little bit, but we're back in action. So the first step to start to work on our mind and purify our mind and start to correct and change our belief systems is going to be our self-talk. Like how do you talk to yourself? Do you encourage yourself? What about when you do something wrong? Do you curse yourself? I know when I was really young, I used to have really bad self-talk, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you effing this, you effing that. And I was talking to myself when I made a mistake or I did something wrong. What we need to do is start to catch ourselves if we ever start doing that. We need to start to correct our self-talk. We need to talk to ourselves internally, our internal dialogue, as if we're encouraging someone that we love. You know what I mean? Like, love yourself. Love has got to start within. You've got to love yourself before you can love anyone else or anything else. And bad self-talk is really going to get you stuck. It's going to get you stuck manifesting a life that you don't want. The more your internal dialogue is negative, especially towards yourself, or even just negative at all to everyone, because we're all connected. We need to start to realize that. It's really detrimental to your health, to your mental health, to your physical health, to your overall well-being. So step one in starting to correct our mind and start to work on our mind is start to work on our internal dialogue, our self-talk. Ask yourself that question. How is your self-talk? How do you talk to yourself inside your own mind? You know what I mean? Do you encourage yourself? Are you cursing yourself? If you are cursing yourself in your mind, you really need to forgive yourself, because we're not perfect. We're not perfect human beings. You know what I mean? You just need to start to forgive yourself and start to catch yourself when you start talking negative to yourself. You know what I mean? So correcting our self-talk is going to be the first step of purifying our mind. I know that I had really bad self-talk many years ago. My self-talk has progressively got better. One thing that I used to do, that I think a lot of human beings do, is we have arguments with ourselves. We have like make-believe arguments with someone or something. You could be driving your car and you're having an argument in your head, you know what I mean? Like, the more you do that, the more you actually start to manifest that into reality. That was the first time I caught myself and started to correct my internal dialogue. Was I finished those pretend arguments. Like, you're driving in your car and you're effing this, effing that, you're having an argument with someone and it's all make-believe, it's all in your imagination. So many years ago, I caught myself doing that. I thought, I'm going to stop doing that. All these fake arguments. And every time I did something wrong, I would curse myself in my mind, like, you're an idiot, you're this, you're that. We really need to change that. We need to start to love ourselves. As I said at the start, we need to talk to ourselves in our internal dialogue as if you're encouraging someone that you love. Start to encourage yourself. Forgive yourself, you know what I mean? Forgive yourself if you do something wrong. Don't curse yourself out. So that's going to be the first step. And it's something you're going to have to start to internalize yourself, because you can't really teach anyone about how they should talk to themselves. It's just, you need to start to catch yourself when you are speaking negatively in your mind, especially even to other people. Try not to react to things as well, which can affect your internal dialogue. Is like, I'll use driving again, for instance. Like, let's say you're driving in your car and someone's driving really aggressively around you and they cut you off. Don't react to that. You know what I mean? Don't react to that, because road rage is a form of internal dialogue that's negative, because you're swearing, that person can't hear you. So catch yourself if you ever find yourself reacting to really bad negative situations. And in that situation, you've got to kind of understand that person who's road raging, they're sad, sorry, and miserable. That's why they're road raging, because they're miserable. You know what I mean? Don't be one of them. Don't be miserable inside yourself. Your internal state is all that matters in this world. Doesn't matter what's happening out there. The only thing that matters is what's happening in here, because you would have heard this before. There could be the exact same situation in the environment, and there's two people existing in that situation. If one person has a negative internal state, they're going to experience that situation negative. The other person can be in the exact same situation but have a positive internal state, and they're going to experience that completely different. Two people can experience the same situation completely differently, because that's all about our internal state. So starting to correct our self-talk, our internal dialogue, and really start to correct our internal state is going to help you free yourself from suffering ultimately, because that's what this one's all about, is to free yourself from suffering. And when you've got this really pure and happy internal state, like, you just find yourself in the present moment, and the present moment is all that we have. There's no past. The past isn't even real anymore. So that's why we should forgive ourselves for our past mistakes. And the future, don't really worry about that too much, you know what I mean? We need to detach from the outcomes of the future. The more we attach to things, the more unlikely it's going to happen. It's a funny thing. The universe is so complex. If you react negatively to a situation, that's kind of telling the universe that you haven't been able to correct your internal state enough to overcome that negative situation. So the universe is going to keep feeding you these negative situations. That's why a lot of people find themselves in these repeating patterns. So step one of the mind is just a nice simple one. It's just one that you need to go away after watching this video and just have a think about it to yourself. It might not happen today or tomorrow. Just next time you feel yourself having this negative thought or this bad self-talk, catch yourself and sort of give yourself encouraging words like, "No, you can do this. You're all right. Don't worry about it. You can do it." That's what I always do to myself. It goes, "Nah, you can do this. You can do this." Instead of saying, "Oh, you're an idiot, you're this, you're that," when I do something wrong, it's sort of, okay, take a step back, reflect for a second, and start to talk to yourself as if you're encouraging yourself. "No, you can do this. You can make it through this. You can make it through this situation. You're strong. You have the power. You have the willpower to be able to push through this." You know what I mean? Time. Just let time pass, and you'll make it. You can do anything that you believe in. Whatever you want to do something, believe in yourself that you can do it. And most likely that sort of stuff will start to come into your life. So we're back in action, man. We're back in action. Hey, we slipped a little bit for a couple weeks, but now I'm feeling fantastic. You know what I mean? Like just finding the present moment again. And it's so simple to find the present moment. Sometimes it just takes a moment just to sit and just observe nature. That's what I found is really starting to get me back in the present moment. Like, I can hear a bird, but just listen to nature. Take in the surroundings, you know what I mean? Just observe ants, like an ant nest. That really brings me into the present moment. Just watching the birds fly around brings me into the present moment. Just looking over a beautiful scenery can bring me into the present moment. Even seeing, this might sound a bit funny, but even observing the suffering in other people actually brings me into the present moment and makes me realize how lucky I am to have experienced that and to be able to bring that into my life. Because when you're at the supermarket or you're in the car and you see people rushing around, they're angry at their kids, they're angry at people, you can just see the suffering. You can see that they're actually living in misery. That's terrible, you know what I mean? I feel really sorry for them because they're going to live probably their whole life in misery. Like, I'll tell you a little story now I'm talking about this. I saw a really elderly couple walking through a car park a couple of weeks ago, and they were definitely very elderly. They would have been into their 80s, possibly in their 90s. And they were a husband and wife, and the husband was storming off to the car in front of his wife. I could see they were in some sort of argument, and all I could think was how sad it is for both these two people to have lived an entire life, and they've never freed themselves from that suffering. They've never corrected that internal state and realized what they have right in front of them, like the beauty of companionship. We need to start to learn to understand other people and don't react when someone is being negative, and start to understand that that person who is either road raging or smacking their kids at the supermarket, right, they're suffering, and that's the truth of it. So the point of life, you know what I mean, there's lots of meanings of life, you know what I mean? I don't know the true meaning of life. I gather that being physical and breaking things in half and baking a cake, you know what I mean? Painting a picture, just using your hands and touching and feeling things is a really big part of life. And also think that the ultimate purpose to free yourself from this life and this physical life and to move on, you know what I mean, to evolve into the next level of consciousness is to correct your internal state. And by correcting your internal state, you free yourself from suffering. When you find yourself in the present moment, you are completely free of suffering, because we are the cause of our own suffering. It's our internal state, how we feel. And when we start to correct that, the world really starts to open up for us, you know what I mean? We start to experience love. So, still in the van. I'm getting tired of being in the van, but I'm going to stop talking about like my financial situation, because I'm rich, ultimately. Like, I'm so rich, you know what I mean? Like, rich with abundance in my life, because I've been able to observe these things, observe suffering, and start to correct my internal state, start to correct my self-talk and my internal dialogue. So that's going to be the first step. If you're following me on this challenge and you've started to exercise, you started to work out on your body, I really hope you have, because we are shifting into a new earth here. Start to correct your internal dialogue. Start to catch yourself next time you're speaking negatively to yourself and think, no, you can do this. No, you're perfect the way you are. You are enough. We are all enough. We have always been enough. You are perfect the way you are. And give yourself some encouragement. If you're trying to do a task and you're finding it hard, just know that things are going to be hard at first, especially if you're trying something new. And people make mistakes. You're probably going to make mistakes, but just give yourself those words of encouragement, you know what I mean? Like, you can do this. It's all right, mate. You can do this. So, self-talk. Start to fix your self-talk, man. You know what I mean? Don't talk to yourself like you hate yourself. Talk to yourself like you love yourself. You know what I mean? So correct your self-talk. That's going to be the first step of the mind. So we're out here. It's really nice today. It's sort of starting to get a little bit cool. It's so hot. So I'm sweating it in the van still. But we're back on track. You know what I mean? Sometimes things sort of slip a little bit when you do a challenge, but that's all right. You know what I mean? Like a very small relapse is all we experience, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Because instead of me getting upset at myself because I had a little bit of a relapse, I just forgive myself. And that's in the past now anyway. So to the future, to the present. And I find myself in the present so much just by working on myself, thinking about the present moment. And Eckhart Tolle. So if you haven't started to read any Eckhart Tolle books, The Power of Now, I've read The Power of Now. And what I might do is actually start to summarize some of it and share what I've learned from that with you. But Eckhart Tolle, really good. Neville Goddard is another guy that I've really started to research at the moment. He doesn't speak so much about present moment awareness and the power of now and presence, but Eckhart Tolle really is fantastic at manifestation and how to correct your mind, because your mind is a muscle, you know what I mean? Start to correct your belief systems and start to use your imagination for the best possible outcome, not the worst possible outcome. Don't think about the worst possible outcome. Use your mind to think about the best possible outcome, you know what I mean? The more you do that, the more you start to manifest things into your life. So, peace out. Gypsy Soldier signing out. Subscribe and like the video. And if you have any suggestions or anything that you want to share with me, type it in the comments. I try to get to it as soon as I can, but I'm in the van, you know what I mean? And I use my phone to upload things onto YouTube and to access the internet, and I keep running out of data. So, and it takes ages off my phone, so I can't actually always access the internet, and especially try to upload like a video to YouTube. So I do apologize if sometimes my replies to the comments seem a little bit late, but hey, you can subscribe and like, because we're going to the moon, man. We're going to take this channel to the moon. And one day, I'm going to be out of this van and in a house with aircon. But manifestation, man. We're gonna keep trying, you know what I mean? Never give up. Never talk negatively to yourself. You know what I mean? It's just a bit of a hard situation that we've all got to go through in order to grow. So, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.